idea of doing a app for this conference, for a conference app, that's Mark's idea, and I think that was critical to giving the whole thing a dynamic, which was real, okay? Because the reality of the project was absolutely key. The fact that we cared, that we had 100, 150 people wandering around using this thing, and we had real delivery deadlines, right? Open space on day one, that was a delivery, and we kind of missed it, right? And then day two, another delivery. And that was a very important part of the dynamic. But we're kind of talking about the meta level of where this workshop worked, rather than the actual project that we were involved in. That's what this retrospective is about. We're interested in.
Can't hear you.
If you failed at something and you made a point of the failure, is a success. So I think that's great.
Thank you. That's well. I'm used to failing, so I have to make the most of these things.
I think it was one of the, only to get back, one of the things we discussed, I think very early, we want to fail fast.
Yeah, absolutely right. And failing fast was kind of part of the importance of the thing. And we wanted to, we said, okay, on what criteria would we have failed in running this workshop, right? If we ran this workshop and it didn't work, what did it mean not to work? And it wasn't that the software project that we were trying to deliver failed to deliver, or that the process failed to deliver. It was something about the experiment that we failed to learn, failed to understand. That was kind of my feeling.
It was okay that we planned that everything could fail, but it shouldn't be failed because of our lack of preparation.
Yeah.
That was the only thing we said. This would be fate for us.
Okay. Is that good enough?
I hope so.
Any questions about that, just quickly? Did we cover it adequately enough so you see where we came from? Yeah? Okay.
So now I want to put some numbers on, but I know people love numbers.
Before you put the numbers down, can I just say, it is so awesome that you started this at this conference, and that you are doing this, and then we did this, because it put reality to, we can have this is the ideal that we want to live, and here's a microcosm of it now. I am so appreciative that you brought that to this. Thank you.
Fascinated by developers who devoted all these days to this. When I say developers, I'm including back-end architecture. Every time I came in, all of you guys, I'm sort of like, but I'm fascinated. Evenings, days, I saw you sitting late in the hotel lobby, and not just the two of you. That's what I'm trying to say. You, all three of you, for example.
It was a lot of fun. You know that these kinds of things are actually organized each year in different languages. There's like the Node Knockout, there's also the Rails Rumble, and the idea is always the same. You have 48 hours.
Yeah.
You are a team of 5, maximum 5 or 6 people, and you just have to build an app. And then there's some kind of jury that actually checks the apps of everybody and starts rating them.
I participated, for example, in a startup weekend in which you build a company. And you have these international, I don't know very good names, international things where people sit down, design an app and make it. And what I'm trying to say is, this is not that kind of an event. They came to a conference, which is LD.
Exactly.
And they actually focused.
They ended up developing all.
Sorry to waste the time.
I think from my perspective, one of the interesting things was that, there was a core bunch of people that came with the intention of doing this. There was another group that joined and stayed because they were interested enough. But the thing that really fascinates me is that people came for an hour and contributed.
Yes.
They programmed, they tested, they criticized our design and our purpose. But all of it, and the people came in and could contribute meaningfully for such a short period of time. It was really interesting.
And you didn't need to be co-located, always the same team, have a long time to form a team. It just happened. So certainly, at least one retrospective finding for me is that you can create an environment where a random set of people with the knowledge and the skills and the interest can create something great without having to do a long-term team preparation, norming, storming, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. We'll cut down this discussion because I'm not agreeing fully because I know this norming, storming thing, like you can't skip it if you have this pressure close thing. Everybody knows it's only 3 days. We leave up. We don't have to bother if I have to work with them
Again.
1 year and so.
I didn't have that. I didn't have the pressure, but I wanted to contribute.
Yeah.
There was no pressure for me.
But I think that.
That's his friend.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you actually feel pressure sometimes?
So.
Yes, we felt sometimes.
And the idea is that if people appreciate each other in a certain way, they can establish swift trust based on expectations of each other's behavior. And whenever one of those is violated, the swift trust envelope can break completely.
I think that you're right, and I would add that the fact that it was totally voluntary meant that you don't lose anything. Like, I go there, if I don't like Lars, I go and work with Marcus. And there's nothing lost. In a team, there is a huge event. When you can't work with someone in a team, it's over. It's like you're looking for another job. And here it was like, okay, I don't like Lars, I'm working with you. And that's it. Okay, sorry, I like
Hypothetical.
You can't easily walk away from it, and it is your responsibility to take until the end. But organizing Ale to begin with, it's like that is the concept, that's the way it works. It's just a bunch of people who get together and put numbers and tell other people and stuff. But there's no boss leadership, brainstorming. There are some brainstorming and decisions made, but it's the same principle. Nobody. So.
Okay, numbers.
Thank you for letting us jump in.
Yeah, it's an open space. So whatever we talk about, it's the right thing to do. So we have count something. So we have 160 deliveries to the test system.
Woo. Woo.
And from there, 24 to production. I think we have 8 committers. What? People who commit to the repository, but we are pairing. So there are many, I think there are many people there who was there, they're paired with one of these
It's 8
committers.
computers, basically.
Huh?
It's 8 computers, yes.
Yeah. I think the count was 1,649 lines.
Wow.
And now the difficult number, we want to count the bugs we have. We go to the bug list, to the feature list and count 4. Everybody in the room said no, because, and that's the point I said that was 4 and more. If it depends on the perspective you look at them. So, and that's the reason why that isn't a valid number to count bugs.
But it is interesting to say how Mark and I got to that perspective. Okay, that was just sorting, and some of those we'd fixed, right? But these were defects that were actually, the code was broken, right? The application did not work, right? But if, for example, you couldn't read the comment that you had just entered, right? That's not a defect. That is just undelivered features, right?
Yeah, and I think that this highlights why it's so crappy to talk about bugs versus features.
It's
It would be much better to say, what was the expectation that was not fulfilled?
Absolutely. And the thing is that
Then the number is much higher.
Of course it is. And that's the point, because that's what matters in your relationship with the
Yes.
customer. It's not whether it's a bug or a feature, it's an expectation that is not fulfilled.
your definition was different again, so I think that's worth hearing.
So actually, we've had Marx's session on testing, and they came back with this stack of bugs. So
Interesting information.
Feedback.
That's one perspective, like the perspective of the user that uses an application. So that might be one definition of quality. Then I am the product owner. For me, the fact that we can add the comment, but we cannot delete it, which for a user might be considered a bug. For me, it is not a bug. It was a deliberate choice. It's the way we sliced the stories.
Yes.
Because I said we can wait one day and have add, edit, delete, or we can have it in 3 hours and people can start adding comments. So that works for me. And from that perspective, we have a relatively small number of bugs, which is they counted 4. I argued that it might be somewhere around 7 or 8. But anyway.
I argue you had at least as many bugs as you had features. That's the definition difference. But what is important is that why is the need? What